Santiago Mohar Volkow, the director of Good Savage. Santiago, you couldn't be here unfortunately this time, but we're so happy to have you and chat about your film. Thank you so much for sharing your hilarious movie with Coconut Grove. I mean, when Javi and I first started the film festival, one of our hopes was to really promote and share movies that are not kind of the typical, let's call them like depressing film festival movie. So as soon as Alvaro Martinez shared your movie with us, we're like, yes, we definitely need to have Santiago's movie in our festival. So thank you so much for sharing it with us.
Thank you very much. It was certainly not intended to be a depressing film festival movie, neither a depressing film festival production, as I think it can be seen in the movie. It was a very fun process. We had a lot of fun watching it, and we wanted that fun to show, and also sort of parody that type of films and that type of film buffs, of which I am also one. It's self-criticism, but we definitely had that in mind.
That is awesome. Santiago, can you tell me where was it shot? Because I'm trying to figure out in my head, like, how do you put a whole crew together, the production, how many days you shoot? Because it seems intimate, but at the same time, the locations are all beautiful. So I wonder if you use one town and you kind of use that as your set and your backdrop to all the scenes. If you can dive into that.
Yeah,
please.
that's an important question to understand sort of how it was that the film was done and how it was possible to do, because there was circumstances that will probably not repeat again. It was shot during the pandemic in a single ranch. That is where the ranch of Manuel Garcia Rulfo, the actor who plays Meliton, his family's ranch in the outskirts of Guadalajara, like 50 minutes from Guadalajara. And I had originally gone there with Andrew, the other actor, just to spend the weekend with him, because, it was the pandemic, you couldn't do much, and, in that place you could ride horses and whatnot. And, just sort of the idea came out. We were talking like, why don't we do a movie here? I mean, we got everything. We got motorcycles, we got horses, we got a place to stay, a whole crew, etc. So we essentially called the actors, my crew, and it was very small. I was like, would you want to do a movie in 2 weeks in this place? Everything is covered. Nobody's going to get paid, but you'll get to stay in a beautiful place and eat great food for two weeks. So it was shot in 2 weeks. It was written 2 weeks, then shot in 2 weeks, and we all stayed in the house of the ranch, and every single one of the locations are like different parts of that same ranch. So it's very contained, but because it was in the countryside, etc., we could, sort of have these different landscapes in it.
But it's so precise in so many ways, whether it be like, talking about El Carrito, the little ATV car, and the second take when it comes in, it's so precise. The lighting, with the spotlights, it's so precise that it really doesn't feel like a 2 week written and 2 week shot film. Was there a big prep between those 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, that original weekend when we went there and the idea came out was very important for the process of writing, because we were very assertive and concrete in writing things that we already knew that how we would do them and how they could be done, thinking about specific places of the ranch that Manu took us to. We saw that they had that little cart thing. We have to use that thing. We saw the horses, everything. And yeah, there was like some days where with Flavia, the photographer, we went to each of one of these places. Since we really didn't have a lot of lights, I think we had like 3 lights or 4 lights in total. We had to pick the time of the day very precisely to make it look how it looks.
My favorite character, even though like Meliton was hilarious, but my favorite character was Dario's character. And what did he have on his lips? Did you just put lip gloss on him 24/7, like within takes, just reapplying lip gloss? I was like, what is that thing?
Had
Uh,
the same thing when I saw it.
yeah, we did apply. I can't remember the name of the substance right now, but we applied it on all of his body, actually.
Oh
No,
yeah.
no, no, yeah, not only
You're
the
right.
lips, but yeah,
Yeah.
it sort of gives him like that glossy thing, and like I wanted, the scene where he comes out in the thong from the lake, etc., to really look like some sort of mythological monster, that
Yeah.
has a different type of skin. So I can't remember what the name of that thing is, but yeah, we applied it all over in every single one of the scenes. Like we wanted him to shine.
Yeah. It was so funny how like, she's dreaming this character in her book that's inspired by her obsession with Meliton.
Yeah.
And then he appears as the kind of bad guy who I thought was super sweet. I love that the movie just like, it was not predictable at all. You're
No,
always just going from one thing to the next.
Yeah, yeah, that was
it,
also something we wanted that really, you don't get the chance to do a film in those conditions that I explained previously. So we wanted to take advantage of that in doing a very free film, a very free in its humor, very free in its form, and sort of do what in a classical or normal scenario you wouldn't you wouldn't be allowed to do, but you wouldn't allow yourself either to do it.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that really helps in the fact that there's a story going on, but I feel that sometimes you watch it more like just out of curiosity of what's next.
Right, 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 right.
My laugh out loud moment was when they're shooting the commercial for the Narcos, and he's like, "Can we kill someone?" I was dying. I was dying. It was
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah. I mean, that's been sort of a controversial scene in some of the screenings we've had. We knew that to some a little bit more PC sensibilities, it could be problematic. But as I said, we had a commitment in going places where in other circumstances we couldn't, and that was definitely one of the first jokes that we had in mind when we wrote the script that we were going to do it,
Right.
uh, yes or yes. And I also like that scene. Aldo Escalante, the guy who gets killed, is a very good actor, a very successful actor, a good friend of mine. And I called him like, hey, would you want to come one day just to get shot and then go back? And because it was the pandemic, we could get this really amazing cast and everything together because nobody had anything else to do.
Um, Thank you for doing that joke. One of the reasons that one of the reasons that I've turned to podcasts and stand-up comedy is because I don't laugh in movies or TV anymore. I mean,
Yeah,
especially now that Curb is done, I literally have nothing to watch to laugh to. So thank you for being controversial because that's comedy should be at the edge.
I agree, and I mean I have a feeling that we're loosening up a little bit again, but we've
Agreed.
certainly gone through a time in which a lot of things were being reconsidered, and that is not necessarily a negative thing, but yeah, it got unfunny, and it not only got unfunny in the sense that people were not doing comedy anymore, but comedy itself was not funny anymore. No, because you can't do comedy being so concerned all of the time on what you're doing and saying. You have to sort of let go a little bit. And I think that because of again how the film was made and how it felt so small and potentially so consequential, etc. In the height of that moment, we were doing that in some ranch, and now that it's come out, I think it's appreciated for its freedom.
That's awesome. So, how many years was it in post production? Since you said you shot it during the height of the pandemic.
Yeah, I think it was like a year and a half in post production or so. We showed it like for the first time in Estonia like a year and a half ago or more.
No way. It's
Yeah,
nice.
like its premiere in But so yeah, I think it was like a year and a little bit more of post production. I mean, it was a long edit process because it it had been so there was so much material, especially on the second the movie within the movie
Right.
that we took a little bit time to tightening it up and building like all these connections that you mentioned earlier of how the characters are sort of brought in from the inspiration of one of the characters and then translated into the movie. And there's a lot of
Yeah.
like meta narrative stuff that we took a little time. And also, I mean, all the music, all the score is original. So that was also a process in composition and recording.
That is awesome. Spot on. You nailed everything. I loved it. I loved it. I love
Yeah,
Thank you.
and the ending was kind of like I like that you gave us like here's the meta explanation. Bam, done. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. We had a Boogaloo boy come in and save the day. That was one of the things in the script that we said. How can we end this? I mean, we need Jesse to be the all American hero that he's denying in himself and come in and save his damsel that is also his sister but is also his wife. So there's a little incest there.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Santiago, for making such a brave film. Thank you for having your Florida premiere with us and trusting us with your film. And please, next time you're in Miami, please let's meet up for a coffee, the three of us, and hang out. And yeah, thank you.
Sure, thank you very much. It's a pity that I couldn't make it this time, but hopefully I'll be able to go the next time and meet up and talk in person. Thank you very much for inviting the movie.
awesome. Thank you.
Definitely.
Okay.
And everyone in the audience, as you know, we have a party coming up right after this at Mr. C. If you haven't gotten your tickets, please see one of the staff members, and we'll see you there. Thank you so much.